What's up, gamers? And today we're going to be reviewing Prydwyn's tier list for version 2.5 with the addition of feixaio. Things have moved around. We have a new Memory of Chaos out, and I cannot wait to review it, and I already see something special. I already see something amazing. They have listened to our prayers. Maybe. I also see some really cool things on this tier list too, which I'll get into in a second here. We always should be starting off with our sustain characters first. So that's what we're going to be doing, guys. We're going to be starting over here with our sustain characters first. I'm actually going to go ahead and blow this up really big, and let's get a screenshot of it so we can talk about it. Alright, gamers, so first things first, let's go ahead and start off here with our sustain characters. As you can see, Bailu got moved down. I fucking love it. I've been saying this for the longest time. I just feel like Gforce brings so much more to the table than Bailu can provide. Now, I do want to look at the changelog to see like what this actually means, unless they have used AI for that. Surely they wouldn't, right? Bailu getting moved down, I absolutely agree with that 100%. I think she's in a perfect spot here. I have always said that I think Lynx is better than both Gforce and Bailu, but I do think Gforce is better, and I do like this option right here, or I do like this decision to move her down, just because of the fact Gforce can put a shield up for the whole team, so it's very preventative damage. She has corrective damage. I always like shielders more than healers personally, because you have a less threshold of dying there. Now, you do have to build him up correctly, but that's besides the point. That's why he's down here in what, tier 2 right here. The big thing with him, though, is he can be used on Acheron teams to build up debuffs, and he can even be used on teams with Doctor Ratio to build up debuffs when using icons like Trends of Universal Market. So I do feel like that increases his value as a sustain character. Now, if I were to compare sustain to sustain, I would say they're very similar, but I just think he offers more on the table than what she can provide there. Now, as far as healing goes, I absolutely agree with this. She has a cleanse. Cleanse is absolutely essential nowadays with how many debuffs we're getting thrown on us. Yeah, I agree with this 100%. I think Gforce right here, just fine. I think this right here, just fine. Now, let's move up just a tad bit here. Locha being here, absolutely agree with this as well. I've been saying it. And also, guys, as you can see at the top here, my girl, Hua got moved up. I've been saying this. I think Hua is a top tier, tier 0 sustain character. I am so glad they have finally listened or got their shit together. I do want to look at the changelog, like I mentioned before. Considering we haven't really gotten any energy-based, like, DPS, we have, what, feixaio now, which is all, like, attack-based? And then what, I guess we got Big J and then Yunli as well. Yunli plays with her, but why didn't they move her up last patch if that was the case, right? Did they move her up only because I saw over there they moved Yunli up? I don't know. We're going to take a look at the changelog here in a second to see why they changed this. Yeah, here I agree with, This is great. I think she is falling off a bit. I don't think she's as future-proofable as she once was. But yeah, these are the best two sustains in the game. I have no gripes with that at all. Alright, gamers, so let's take a look here. Bailu, I went ahead and searched her name up. Each of the characters without a dedicated reason for a rating change has one or multiple issues. Lack of meta impact. Okay, agree with that. Play rate consistently below expectations. See, that's what I was talking about in that. Okay, let's get into the whole AI video. If the tier list is based on what is the best teams to be used for them, does play rate really play a role into that? Like, let me go back to the criteria here and make sure I'm not coping. Now, right here in the criteria, it doesn't list anything about play rate here at all. Now, I could be missing something. It could be somewhere else, but there's nothing listed in the criteria here that would indicate that play rate plays a role into the tier list at all. So I feel like that's kind of take to make right there. I don't think play rate consistency should really be factored into this tier list if that is not a current criteria on your tier list, right? But let's continue down this. Underwhelming and inconsistent results. Okay, well, that must be QQ. Anyways, let's continue. Not having enough meaningful dedicated support to match the increase in game difficulty. Victims of power creep compared to characters who share the same niche, but with far superior performance, and suffers at the hands of new enemy mechanics. Okay, sure. I mean, I guess, right? We're going to get to the DPS and what I disagree with over there in a second, but I guess really the only thing I disagree with there is the play rate consistency. That's not listed in the criteria, though I don't feel like it should be graded based off that if it's not listed in the criteria. Now let's move down over to the support characters. I pretty much agree with this all down the board here. Absolutely 100%. That's an amazing tier list. Probably when you did a great job on that one, but let's see if we coped out over here. Tier 4 Yukong. Okay, I agree with that. Hanya tier 4. Agree with that. Okay, now Godifen, I can disagree with this. Personally, I think Godifen. Okay, well, I guess if we're going to relate her to a deep, yeah, I guess she would be right here. She is definitely not on the level of these three. That's for damn sure. Yeah, so I guess I do agree with this, actually. Yeah, I do agree with that. And yes, move Silverwolf the fuck down here. Okay, I've been saying it first. Silverwolf just has so much diminishing value, and people just keep saying, Silverwolf is so future-proofable. No. Silverwolf is not that future-proof. We are getting characters in the game now that literally just bypass enemy types, so that literally nullifies one whole thing of her kit. One of the main shticks of her kit is changing the type on the enemy. This is great for new game players. This is not great for late game players, and I'm curious to see why they moved her down, if it's even a reason listed on there, which we'll take a look at after we get through this whole list here. Oh wait, I forgot to look at Hua though. What the hell? Okay, so their reasoning for Hua is that she is used on multiple teams, which is absolutely correct. She is used on a lot of teams, and then she also helps Yunli as well. But I feel like if it was based on the release of Yunli, shouldn't have she been up there beforehand? I feel like even before Yunli was released, she was up there. Like, I don't feel like Yunli tipped the scales. I feel like she was already up there, and then we got another good energy-based DPS, and she got moved up there. Also, there's still in the fact here of she's on a lot of teams, right? Which I think is a great criteria. I think the most used characters should be ranked highly on a tier list based off of how often they're being used. I think that's a fine take to make there, but the criteria that I saw doesn't mention that, so like, or should we really be grading that if that's not our criteria here? That's the only gripe I have here. I'm going to stop off that point now, but that is the only gripe I have here. I think it should be using the criteria, but it's not listed in the criteria. Maybe I'm just nitpicking, guys. I'm just being a bitch. That's all it is. I'm sorry. I'm just being a little baby back bitch about this. Anyways, I should be happy that we got Hua moved up. We're going to check Silverwolf in a second here, but yeah, I absolutely agree with this, that she moves down there. Honestly, Bronny in tier 1.5? Yeah, I agree with that. I would normally say move her ass down to the Shadow Realm, but I think she's been moved down enough. Tier 1.5 is absolutely great for her. Let's keep her there. That's absolutely good to me, because I've always think Ting Yun is just better. Ting Yun gives energy, Ting Yun gives attack, Ting Yun gives speed. It's amazing. I love Ting Yun. She gives so much. I love Ting Yun so much. Energy, very, very pog there. And also, she can be fitted into a lot more teams with SP generation as well. Anyways, that's besides the point. I think Bronny is good. Don't get me wrong. She's just an SP whore. That's really what it comes to at the end of the day. SP whore. And also Pela's down here. Yeah, I've always said that in most circumstances that Pela and her are on the exact same level. The only additional thing that Silverwolf really provides is like effect res pin, and then also just a lot more debuffs in general. But she is a lot more single target oriented, with the MOC being how it is, where it's kind of like the mix between Apocalyptic Shadow and Pure Fiction. I feel like they are on the same level, whereas I feel like Pure Fiction, probably Pela's a little bit better, and then probably for Apocalyptic Shadow, she's a bit better. But yeah, I absolutely agree with her getting moved down the list here. Oh, he has a little eyeball on it. What does the eyeball mean? We'll check that out in a second here too. Yeah, these two in the same tier, absolutely agree with that. I think Big J absolutely stays right here. I don't think that's cope at all. Now, are they looking at moving him up or moving him down? Personally, I think he probably stays right there. I don't think he moves down at all. Potentially moves up, maybe can move up to this tier. I think he's just about as niche as Sparkle is right now in the game. So maybe he moves up there, or maybe you move Sparkle down. Now, I have a take on Sparkle, guys, that you guys are not going to like. I don't think Sparkle should be up here. I'm not going to lie. Now, before you flame in the comment section, there's a reason I don't think she should be up here. And that's just because we don't really have like a super strong crit-based unit in the game right now that's really taking use of her. I guess feixaio is a crit-based unit, right? But you're using her in a full follow-up team. Acheron, you need her E2 to activate that. So I don't know. I mean, maybe Yunli on the team? Like, realistically, where are you using Sparkle at in this day and age? I don't know. I feel like for now, she should be moved down, because I feel like she's only as strong as what her strongest support character is, and I feel like right now the easiest to use are both Jingleyu and Dragon Danny. I feel like she should be on the same tier as them. That's my personal opinion on that. Harmony MC, yeah, they can be used basically here, and yeah, and break teams, pseudo break teams as well, they can be used, so that also works. So yeah, I think they absolutely deserve to be up here. And then also Ruan May Robin. I think this has been a great update for Robin. Not gonna lie, feixaio, absolutely amazing with Robin. I think she does deserve the top spot. She's been growing with each and every patch, where I feel like Ruan May's been more stale and stagnant. She hasn't really went down, I would say. I'd say she stayed about the same. And Robin, like the Jingyuan mains love, is indirect buff. She's just getting her ass blasted with indirect buff. So yeah, I can absolutely see why she moves up. Now, I do want to look at the change log to see what has actually changed here with Big J and then also Silverwolf. Alright guys, so here we go. Silver Dog, the Silver Dog, she got moved down because she just doesn't have the same performance as Big J or Ting Yun, which I absolutely agree with, and she should be moved down. As mentioned earlier, we are placing both an express watch list to check the performance against feixaio. Acheron can maintain her spot or drop to tier 0.5, while JQ can potentially move up to tier 0.5 depending on how they perform in our testing and in the community's hands in the near future. See, I really don't like that we're using community hands on this, because what if people are just dog shit at the game? Like, I guess if you were to put this in the criteria, should we be taking community like feedback on this, right? Like, if we're getting a lot of runs submitted by dog shit players, let's say for example, right, they thought feixaio was the bee's fucking knees, and then they go to community testing, and then everyone's like running feixaio into the absolute ground. Now keep in mind, feixaio is easy as hell to run. I can practically do 0 cycle on auto with that bitch without even building her, right? But the thing is, right, if it were the other way around, if say everyone that reported their testing goes in and is like, damn, she fucking sucks ass, just because I don't know how to use her or use the team correctly, does that make her a lesser unit? I don't think so. So yeah, I really don't necessarily agree with that there, but we're going to continue with the list regardless over here to our specialist category. Yo, she got moved up. Yeah. She's great with follow-up teams. Like I said, guys, I made a whole video talking about this. Please go check it out if you haven't already. I made a video on Robin versus Topaz. Now, guys, I 100% think that Robin is better than Topaz, but I feel like Robin on a follow-up team is easier to replace, or she has better replacement options on the follow-up team or on the feixaio team than Topaz has. Topaz has Moze, and Topaz also has Mitch March 7th as well, right? But if we were to look at these characters and we were to look at the damage numbers here, honestly, this is a great replacement, and this is a great replacement as well. And these two characters are already a cut above the rest, while, you know, she is down here. I feel like the rating between these two sides here is kind of unbalanced. Like, for example, if Miss Gwen was here, I'd probably put her in this category right here because of how versatile she is. But with her being compared to something like this, I disagree with it, right? We are comparing buffers in the game to these fucking amazing buffers, right? Bronya is still really good. Silverwolf is still really good. Pela is still really good, guys. Honestly, I would say if I were to put them on the level, I would say that they are probably, if you were to put them in the specialist category against these other characters, I would say these characters are probably on par with these characters here. I'm not even joking with you. Like, I think that they are a tier above what these characters can even comprehend, or maybe two, right? So, I mean, like, at the end of the day, right, I do think she should be moved up. I think she's absolutely amazing. And with the addition of more follow-up characters, she can support them more. She gives them a 50% vulnerability debuff on the enemy for follow-up damage. Absolutely amazing. Now, let's go on this list here, right? Oh, Black Swan and Kafka, no! My build guide's gonna flop now! I just put out a build guide on both of them! Bro, no one's gonna use them anymore because they're tier 1! Hoyoverse, please release more dot characters. I want to use my dot mommy Kafka and my Swan, please! Oh, we gotta see why they brought them down. I already know why they brought them down. They're not as efficient. Though, I will make one argument here. I do feel like Black Swan, specifically this patch, has been really popping off, especially in MOC 12 and 11, with wind-type enemies. She can break the enemy shield. She can also be used with the likes of someone like a Katsuki fucking SAMPO, which I think for this particular MOC should be moved up to tier 1.5 because of the fact that if you have him E6, which is what they're grading him off of, he is absolutely able to destroy the enemy because he's able to reproc the wind shear. And I'm talking, I was getting 100k reprocs with him and clearing MOC in like 2 cycles with a dog shit built for him. So, hey, I think this patch, give it to him, my boy Katsuki Shampoo. I think he moves up to like tier 1.5. I think he's an absolutely golden boy here. Oh, I'm looking at her over there. Okay, let's not talk about her right now. But yeah, I do think he deserves to be up a bit in the rankings, especially for this MOC. And I feel like he's in a correct place. Like, he's a lot harder to use in this MOC, though we do have weaknesses that are taking use of the physical damage typing. So yeah, maybe that there. Oh, also Moze got added. Yeah, I agree with this. Moze, her. That's what I said before on my previous tier list. I think Moze and her are going to be on the same level. I don't think that he was necessarily going to be above March 7th, but I thought he was going to be very similar to the same level as her, right? He does debuff, he does follow-ups. I do think in the terms of versatility, she offers a little bit more versatility than him because she can be used on a lot more teams than him, like break comps as well. He can really only be used on follow-up teams. So I mean, like, I feel like she does have more versatility than him, but overall I think this is a good choice to put him up in tier 1. Now let's move down. Her up here, I would honestly say put her down here for now, this patch. I mean, I feel like Joey is fine, but is there really quantum weakness right now? Yeah, because I mean, looking at this, even for Mach 12, I guess the only 2 enemies with like main type advantage being quantum is right here, right? So you would need someone to be able to change type, even though she can bypass with her ultimate and the other move, right? I feel like, is that really consistent enough to say I guess she's like not that high of a tier, so I don't know why I'm really that pressed about it. But even Mach here, Mach 11, there's not really any weakness there either that she can take use. I guess this enemy here, I don't know. There's not really a quantum weakness here, so I feel like it's just, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that, I think. I mean, tier 2, I feel like it's fine. I mean, it's kind of low, so I mean, I guess it's fine. I guess I'll retract my statement for now. But with that being said, I normally say Jade moves up. Now, with there being no, like, real quantum weak enemies, I don't think Jade moves up this patch. I think Jade actually does deserve to kind of be down here this patch for a Memory of Chaos, right? There's no quantum weakness. If there was quantum weakness near the end, then maybe I would consider moving Jade up some, but no, I can't see that right now. Everyone else here I pretty much agree with. My only real big gripe is moving him up. I don't really agree with Black Swan being moved down. I think Kafka is okay to be moved down just because of the advantage towards wind type characters. Not to say that Kafka doesn't have an advantage here as well with electric type, but if we're just going off a recommended typing here, wind type kind of takes it there, and then also on Mach 12, wind typing takes it here as well for this stage anyways, right? Enemy weak to electric here and an enemy weak to electric here, so I mean, like, I guess in certain scenarios she works, but I feel like overall Black Swan is working better this patch than what Kafka is putting out. So first of all, let's look why Topaz got moved up. Her strong synergy with Clara, Dr. Ratio, and now Yun Li, and also with the release of Fuzhou, this is going to surge her to new heights. Topaz is one of her best teammates. Yep, I absolutely agree. She is part of the fart. Based on both of her new and existing synergies, she is now one of the best characters of the game, so they're raising her to Apex tier. I absolutely agree with that. Black Swan and Kafka. Dot has not been performing to Apex level for an extended period of time. We are following through on our decision to both lower Kafka and Black Swan as a result of this and their continued lack of support. We expect these characters are likely to return to form when developers finally give Dot some attention. I absolutely agree with that. I do kind of agree that Dot has kind of fallen off. I'm not saying it's bad, right? I don't think it's definitely on the level of them, right? But not to say that it can't get fast clears. I actually recorded my mock with a Dot team this cycle with 3 cycles using a Dot team, which is not amazing by like really any means, but still very passable to get through. 3 cycles, that's not bad at all for most players, right? That they're able to complete it within 5 cycles, they're lucky sometimes, right? So I mean, like, I feel like Dot is still viable, just not as viable as these right here. The one that I have a disagreement with. Okay. So guys, first of all, Acheron, Feixaio. I swear to God, you better not be moving this bitch down to tier 0.5. You're out of your goddamn mind. I'm not saying that Feixaio's bad. Feixaio's great. Ain't no way you're about to move her down over Feixaio. You are crazy. You are trolling. You are out of your mind if you think you're going to move her down. I do think she's a little bit behind Acheron in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty solid right here. Yun Li being moved up. I guess she can work here. I don't necessarily agree with Clara being moved up. I think Clara probably here in tier 1.5 for me. I don't think that Clara's on the same tier as Dragon Danny in this. I also think that probably Yun Li's on this same category as well, if I'm being honest with you. Now, I don't have any game time with Yun Li, so I don't want to really throw my hat into the ring on this particular one. I don't want to, like, say it without a shadow of a doubt. She belongs to be down there! Because I don't have her, so I can't play with her. I'm just, from the stuff that I've seen with her, it seems like she is still kind of harder to play. So I would probably put her down there, but like I said, not really throwing my hat into the ring right now. I'll leave my marker here just to see my current thought process on it. But yeah, that's where I think she should be at. Eyeball on Jingliu. You gonna move Jingliu down? I don't think there's any possibility that you move Jingliu down without moving Danny down. I feel like these two are hand in hand. If you move one down, I feel like you have to move the other down. I get it, there hasn't much ice support in the game. There is more imaginary based support in the game right now. So I guess if you were to take it based off of what enemies are doing in the game, then maybe you move her down just for the fact there's not very many ice weak enemies in the game right now versus how many more imaginary weak things there are in the game right now. But with that same logic, I feel like SAMPO should be moved up as well, and then Black Swan should have stayed the same. So what are we doing here, I guess? I don't know. Anyways, let's continue on here to Missy Moose Zila right here. Disagree. I don't think Zila is all that we're cracking her up to be. I still think that these are on the same level. I think that QQ is still on the same level, even with her inconsistencies. I feel like I get more out of my QQ than I get out of my Zila with a lesser build on my QQ. And that's saying something, right? Like, I shouldn't, you know, have to put more effort into a 5-star character to make them work as efficiently, let's take efficiency out there. QQ, not efficient. But work on par with the damage that QQ is able to put out. Now, am I having to restart more? Yeah, I guess I am having to restart more. So I guess that maybe would be a reason to move her down. I can see that as a reason. She's not efficient, I would say. So maybe that's the reason she's inconsistent, you could say, right? So maybe for that you move her down. My personal opinion, I think she's on the same tier. I'm not gonna lie, I disagree with this too. I think our general should be right here as well. I think with the addition of someone like Mose into the game, I actually think that he and Mose can work fairly decently on the same team together. From like Lightning Lord getting additional hits out, for him using skill every turn, I feel like this is a pretty good matchup for using him and Moses on the same team. You get the electric debuff. Maybe if you're coping out enough, then you throw, what, Miss Silverwolf on the team as well. Then you run a mono electric team or some shit. I don't know. I feel like both these characters can work kind of well together, actually. And for that, I would probably be moving him up. And also just all the indirect buffs that the DOT is getting and the new set added to the game. I feel like he can take use of that new planner set fairly decently too. So, anyways, I think that he should be moved up here. I think it's fine. I think he should be moved up here as well. Now, on to the rest. Argenti, agree. This, agree. And this, I agree. Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything here, but I do want to see the changelog of why they moved some of these characters down, especially why they moved some of these DPS around here. So, Jing Yuan has performed below expectations in the last few Memory Chaos. Based on our testing, players gathered across the last few phases in community feedback, while in most of the recent phases his performance has improved, it has caused a low play rate, leading to skewed results. That's what I'm saying. Like, why should we be grading characters based off of low play rate? Play rate should not be what determines how good or bad a character is. Just because the character's played less, that probably means that those people don't have them. Think about this, right? If you are just now coming to the game and you missed the Jing Yuan rerun, you don't even have them to use anyways. The only people that have them are the people that pulled on the rerun and people to pull from originally. So obviously his play rate's going to be lower because people haven't had a chance to pull on him. And you're bringing in new players. These old players are fucking leaving the game. You're bringing in old players into the game. Like, this is why I disagree with the play rate thing. I think play rate should be used in some type of grading, right? If a lot of people are using one character, I think you should be like, okay, well, these are the characters we need to see. But I still think that the characters need to be tested more, but maybe they'll bring that up here. In scenarios where a character exceeds expectations with a lower play rate, we double our efforts in testing them in order to understand what warrants the inclusion of a current round of evaluations or not. We specifically test the teams that overperformed in said data. Overall, after manually testing him, we found that Jing Yuan struggles to find a place in the current meta, and that's the reason why we drop his popularity in the rankings. And he is not alone there. Most 1x limited damage dealers are starting to show their age. I agree with that. Okay, so if they're manual testing, I am fine with that. Do I think that he deserves to be down there because he's a low play rate? No. Do I think he deserves to be down there after doing some manual testing and seeing that he's good or bad? Okay, that's a fine take by me. I was about to explode my top. I should have read the rest of it, guys. But that's the point I'm on here, right? I do honestly think, if I'm thinking about it, I think if that's the terminology they were using, I've started to see age with Zila as well. I would probably move Zila down. Zila mains are going to get mad in the comment section down below. I know they are. Jingliu gamers, let's go. Jingliu hasn't been seeing the play rate, performance, or meta relevancy she has previously retained for quite some time now. With this MOC being particularly underwhelming, Jingliu hasn't received any major dedicated support in some time since her release, only seeing minor improvements or variations through Ruame, Sparkle, Robin, none of which are designed for her and make better use of her gameplay and synergies. Yeah, okay, I can agree with that. Like I said, I don't think she has gotten many very indirect buffs. I think the only person here that's got the biggest buff is probably him with someone like Sparkle, right? Which is arguably should be down here somewhere where I marked her before. But yeah, I think that he has gotten more major support than she has. Hopefully she gets some more support in the future. Honestly, she is starting to show her age. Like I said before, all the 1.0 characters are starting to show their age because we're getting into the power creepy type stuff where the meta is more niche, but the characters just perform so much more damage within those niches that is there really a point of even running these characters anymore, right? Like maybe if there's a scenario where you use ice, but even then, right? If the enemy can be weakness broken, then you run her. If the enemy is, let's say, debuff susceptible, you run her. They bypass types, so typing at this point doesn't matter as much. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I can agree with her being on a watch list. Overall, guys, I think that some of these lists here, especially these two right here, are very good. Kind of had disagreements here, and I have a lot of disagreements with the DPS, as I normally do. Anyways, gamers, that's going to do it for our long drawn out, long-winded tier list video. What did you guys think of it? Do you think my placements are wrong? Please let me know in the comment section down below. And what do you guys think, if you haven't watched my last video yet, of Prydwyn using AI for their tier list? Or I guess the criteria or changelog. Anyways, that's going to do it, guys. See you later. Bye.